Hey guys, I'm Dev, and I think it's time to rock. Ragnarok, that is. It's been a long time since the first Thor movie, and all those tongue-twisting Norse names can be tough to keep straight. So we put together a Thor timeline to help you catch up before Ragnarok blows you away. We'll begin in ancient times. Asgardians aren't gods, at least not what you and I would consider gods. They're these humanoid aliens who have mastered science to the point where it's indistinguishable from magic. It's magic. For countless millennia, they live in an outer space paradise called Asgard, one of the 9 realms connected by Yggdrasil, the World Tree. Yggdrasil, like Gardasil. The first major Asgardian War takes place in 2998 BC. Is that before Cap? Should we say before Cap? That's when an evil elf named Malekith tries to plunge the universe into eternal darkness. Every 5,000 years, the barrier between realms weaken in an event called the Convergence. It's the perfect opportunity to release the ether, which might seem like a viscous red liquid, but it's actually the ultra-powerful reality stone. Malekith is stopped by an early Asgardian king named Bor, with a B. He kicks some elven ass and then hides the ether away where it can't be found. Later, Bor's son Odin succeeds him as king and ushers in a new era of peace. Around this time, the Asgardians make their existence known to Earth, aka Midgard, where the local population worships them as gods. All that peacefulness ends in 965 AD, when frost giants from the realm of Jotunheim invade Midgard. The Asgardian army repels the giants, and Odin himself beats their king Laufey in one-on-one combat. Odin seizes the source of the giants' ice magic and takes Laufey's child to raise as his own, a little demon boy you may know as Loki. He was raised alongside Odin's biological son, the mighty Thor, whose first movie takes place in 2010. Just before he's formally coronated as heir to his father's throne, Thor arrogantly reignites the Cold War with the frost giants. Cold War? Yeah. Odin is furious. He strips Thor of his powers and banishes him to Earth to prove himself worthy. Meanwhile, Loki is back in Asgard up to all kinds of bullshit, and after Odin goes into hibernation, he winds up as king. Loki's endgame is to wipe out the giants once and for all so he can get the glory as the king who ended the war for good. He also sends a giant robot to New Mexico to squish his older brother. Will these two ever get along?
Just wait, later in the video.
Okay, is that when they team up in the Thor trailer? In a selfless act that makes him worthy to hold Mjolnir again, Thor sacrifices himself to save his friends from the Destroyer. The Thunder God defeats Loki, who falls into a black hole that conveniently dumps him right at the feet of Thanos. The Mad Titan hooks him up with an army of Chitauri soldiers and a brainwashing scepter powered by the Mind Stone. He offers Loki the chance to rule Earth in exchange for retrieving the Tesseract, which is yet another Asgardian relic that houses an Infinity Stone. Knowing a good deal when he sees one, Loki invades in 2012, kicking off the first Avengers movie. He uses the scepter to turn Hulk against the Avengers, and while they're distracted, Loki traps Thor and kills Agent Coulson right in front of him. He gets better because of the whole spin-off thing.
Welcome to level 7.
We're never doing an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video, are we?
Don't hold your breath, brother.
Yeah. The Avengers assemble in New York to battle Loki, thousands of Chitauri, and those big floating worm things.
I'm bringing the party to you.
I don't see how that's a party.
Thor charges his hammer with the Chrysler building and wrecks most of the aliens, which is one of Thor's top 3 moments in the MCU next to knocking off the Hulk's jaw, and what else has he done?
You got dumped by Natalie Portman.
Ooh, yes, that's right. While Thor does that, Hulk gets the honor of defeating Loki. That's the whole puny god scene.
Puny god.
After the battle, Thor grabs his brother and beams back to Asgard with the Tesseract. Once he's home, he helps fight off invading marauders at the beginning of Thor: The Dark World, which takes place in 2013. Back on Earth, Thor's love interest Jane Foster discovers some strange portals in an old London warehouse. I'm already checked out.
You're fine with a bunch of aliens that dress like Vikings, frost giants, elves, mind-controlling gems.
It's the convenience of the story. Whatever. One of the portals sucked Natalie Portman into the Dark World, where a strange red substance infests her body. Thor takes her to Asgard, where Odin recognizes it as the Ether, the same Infinity Stone used by Malekith 5,000 years ago. With another convergence just around the corner, convenient, the Dark Elf awakens with a plan to rip the Ether from Jane's body and unleash it on the 9 realms. While the Asgardians are distracted by a riot in their dungeons, his fleet pierces their defenses and sacks the realm. Thor's Mother Frigga defeats Malekith in a sword fight. Is that like yippee-ki-yay, Mother Frigga? But he escapes after his henchman Curse fatally stabs her. Rest in peace, Mother Frigga. Thor, Loki, and friends teleport Jane to the elf homeworld, where they set an unsuccessful trap for Malekith.
That's the whole thing where like you slice off Thor's hand, but it's all an illusion.
Oh, yeah. So Loki dies, taking out Curse, and Malekith absorbs the ether. Then Thor and Jane chase him back to Earth for the final battle. It takes them through dozens of portals and different worlds. I really like this fight. It reminds me kind of like the ending of Jumper. It's hard to get portal fights wrong. They're always really good. Because you think they're about to hit the ground, and then they go woof.
Now you're thinking with portals.
Finally, Thor wins the day after dropping Malekith's spaceship right on his head. Going back up to Asgard, Thor tells his father that he's not ready to be king, which suits him just fine since it's actually Loki impersonating Odin. Sif and Vostok drop the ether off with the Collector.
That's very wise.
And the God of Thunder heads back to Midgard to focus on his relationship with Jane, which breaks up like in between these two movies, right?
3 in the morning.
Instead of sending a text, he just sends the hammer through her door.
Thou up.
And he joins back up with his Avenger buddies for Age of Ultron in 2015. Thor and the team retrieve Loki's scepter from a Hydra base in Sokovia, where Baron von Strucker was using it to experiment on the Maximoff twins, Pietro and Wanda. The Avengers are celebrating their victory at a party when Tony Stark's creation Ultron attacks and steals the scepter. During their pursuit, Wanda uses her powers to force disturbing hallucinations on the Avengers.
Take special care, I doubt a human can keep her at bay. Fortunately, I am mighty.
Thor sees a ghostly vision of Asgard where his former friends blame him for their deaths. Later, when the Avengers are chilling at Hawkeye's cabin, Thor heads to some hot springs for some rest, relaxation, and some MCU foreshadowing. Later, he uses his lightning to bring Vision to life and inspire his cool outfit. He's a little shocked to learn that a newborn synthezoid is worthy of holding Mjolnir, but he's supportive of his fellow Cape enthusiasts.
It's terribly well balanced.
Well, if there's too much weight, you lose power on the swing.
When Ultron threatens to drop a city on Earth, as all good villains do, Thor and Iron Man vaporize it before it hits the ground. With the day saved, Thor says goodbye to his fellow action figures just in time to avoid the Great Civil War of 2016. Thor was just chilling in Australia with his buddy Daryl. Not even a visit from Bruce Banner could convince him to pick a side, though he does offer advice to Cap and Iron Man through electronic letters.
Dear Tony Stark, how's it going? I heard you and Captain America were having some relationship problems.
He also makes significant progress unfolding the mystery of the Infinity Stones. Later that year, he returns to America in search of Doctor Strange, who agrees to help him find the missing Odin.
Family drama, that kind of thing. Allow me to help you.
And that, folks, is the last time we see Thor until 2017, when he returns with a spiffy new haircut to take on Hela, the goddess of death. She may be the toughest opponent he's ever faced, effortlessly crushing the mighty Mjolnir.
It's not possible.
Darling, you have no idea what's possible.
She banishes Thor to the distant planet of Sakaar, where he faces an old friend from work in deadly gladiator combat.
So much has happened since I last saw you. I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh.
Will Thor escape the Grandmaster's gauntlet? Can he return to Asgard to save his people? Is he mighty enough to defeat Death herself? Right now, all we can say is let the games begin. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I am really excited for Thor Ragnarok. I've had this movie pinned as the best MCU movie of 2017 for a while now. If you're excited to see Thor or you have your favorite MCU moment from Thor, let us know in the comments below and subscribe to Now This Nerd, please and thank you. Goodbye, people.